What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
We need to focus on beating Michael's schemes and defending Leon,
I announced. Having a calm conversation with Michael and reaching a deeper understanding, I knew I couldn't fake that kind of connection. He's a real threat, there's a lack of humanity in him, and he's ready to do whatever it takes to reach his goal. It was frustrating, but I had no other option than to confront someone who clearly didn't respect boundaries.
Let's get moving.
Everyone agreed with my suggestion. Don't stress about anything until everything is settled. I resolved to do just that and started teleporting everyone to the battlefield. Rimuru and the group were readying themselves when the conflict had already started. There was no formal declaration of war. Vega had gone rogue.
Can't he just stick to the plan?
Kagali nodded in solidarity with Feldway's complaints. The aim wasn't to demolish El Dorado, but rather to persuade the owners of angelic skills to join their cause. Kagali was puzzled upon learning that Feldway could manage Michael's control. Nevertheless, she agreed with the decision to keep the generals out of the battle strategically. Thus, without hesitation, she endorsed the current strategy. The plan was straightforward. Feldway, Velzard, Zalerio, Pico, Gracia, Kagali, Yuki, Tyr, Footman, Vega, Orlia, Arios, and Mai Faruki, a total of 13, would wreak havoc. Their objective was to eliminate any opposition and locate the angelic skill wielders. While it was only a hunch and not certain, Kagali was confident it was Leon. Even if she was mistaken, it wouldn't be an issue. The mission would conclude once the target was secured. If the city failed to deploy a defense, Kagali and her team would act as the assaulting force. However, upon their arrival through Mai's instantaneous movement, Vega went berserk, disregarding all commands. He tore down the city's defenses and charged straight for what seemed to be the royal castle. Kagali was left stunned. He's even more foolish now that he's gained more power. It's becoming increasingly difficult to involve him in our operations. We may need to seriously consider a purge. Disobeying orders was strictly prohibited in any group. Furthermore, if an executive defied orders, it could lead to challenges in maintaining military discipline. Setting an example with the lower ranks may require addressing Vega. Regardless, the mission was already underway. Deciding to consult with Feldway, Kagali left Vega for when they returned.
I and Velzard can act as a distraction, while Zalerio, Pico, and Gracia should remain here. The rest will be under your command to search for our targets.
Tyr, Footman, Arios, Orlia, Mai, and the team resurrecting undead elves were all under the influence of Kagali's spell. Though the orders were not mandatory, they were linked through telekinesis. Kagali excelled at planning strategies, a skill recognized by Feldway, who placed her in charge. Thus, Kagali issued the command.
We can address Vega's misbehavior later. Currently, focus on attacking the enemy with full force. Retreat is allowed if necessary, so give it your all.
Except for Yuki, everyone had considerably increased in power. While they had more restraint than Vega, they were eager to test their newfound strength. As soon as Kagali gave the signal, they sprang into action. And Kagali trailed behind them on her own. I have some autonomy and authority. This opportunity may not arise again. She contemplated waiting for a better moment, but the fear of Michael controlling her will overruled that thought. If she were to become a mere puppet, all hope would vanish. This could be her final chance. Optimism was risky, prompting Kagali to take a stand. From the start, she had no intentions of staying loyal to Feldway and the others. Michael and Feldway were unhinged. Their madness was so evident that Kagali couldn't envisage a promising future with them. I swear I won't betray you. I'll bow to your authority. Indeed, Kagali vowed never to betray her comrades, even if it meant succumbing to Michael's influence. She was ready to reciprocate the kindness she received from Yuki, regardless of the moral cost. Michael's influence appears to be potent within a specific range, but it may diminish with increased distance or isolation from the vicinity. Efforts could be made to track down the owners of the other skills, yet the whereabouts of those three skills remained a mystery. Essentially, there was a strong likelihood that it was a secured area known as Ramirez's Labyrinth. If they could manage to reach that location, there was a possibility of rescuing Kagali and the others. Fortunately, they were in league with Demon Lord Rimuru. Although it was uncertain at the moment, there was still a good chance that the benevolent Lord Rimuru would offer shelter to Kagali and the others. Therefore, the best course of action for Kagali and the others was to cause a commotion and seize an opportunity to flee. In light of that,
Can you hear me, Laplace?
Chairman, are you okay?
I'm fine, but I'm in a bit of a bind. That's why.
Give me any orders you need. Where do you want me to go?
Head to El Dorado.
Kagali called upon her most trusted ally. And so, Laplace joined the fray. Meanwhile, Leon's subordinates immediately grew tense. They had been preparing for the day when real action would be required. That day had arrived. It wasn't long before Leon was informed that the city's defenses had been breached and the enemy forces were invading. With a subsequent report, a knight, bloodied and breathless, shouted,
Only 8 intruders, but their power is immense. They have breached the city, and we are in disarray.
Leon turned to Guy after seeing the knight off to confront the invaders.
Have you reached out to Rimuru?
Damn, communications are cut off. She's over there. Velzard. This means there are more than just 8 of them.
Leon nodded, understanding the situation. Even if they were enemies, the first move would be to disrupt their communication network. It was to be expected. Thus, as a precaution against such circumstances, Rimuru was using monitoring magic called Argus to keep track of the various forces. There might be a slight delay, but any trouble would not go unnoticed. Help was sure to arrive. Moreover, even if they were unable to make it in time and things took a turn for the worse, there was still a plan that Rimuru had mentioned in jest. It might not have been a serious suggestion, and Leon might be inclined to dismiss it, but in a dire situation, there would be no time for debate. In any case, he felt it was important to prevent that situation now, so Leon turned to Guy and asked,
Should we wait here until Rimuru and the others show up?
Guy shook his head, saying,
It's not possible. Velzard could easily wipe out this place if she decides to get serious.
That's not good.
The use of spatial transportation required specific coordinates of both the current location and the desired destination. If these coordinates were compromised, it was likely the enemy had planned accordingly.
If the magic transfer circle is destroyed, it'll delay our reinforcements even more.
Maybe if they could stall for about 12 minutes, Rimuru would make it in time. To achieve that, they would need to defend the base.
Alright then, I'll go out and handle her.
Guy declared, getting to his feet.
I'll come with you. I'm not holding back today.
Misery and Rain joined Guy without hesitation. Living together for the past few months had allowed them to understand the abilities of these two individuals. Rain, in particular, had been rapidly improving, which was starting to give Leon a run for his money. Normally, that would have been frustrating, but now that she was on their side, it felt reassuring. Misery grumbled that she wished she could always be serious, a sentiment shared by everyone. And then, an unwelcome interruption came.
You two weaklings won't be much help to us. I'm not particularly fond of assisting Guy, but I'll follow Rimuru's orders. I'll lend a hand, so let's stick together.
Diablo chimed in with a smug grin.
You should be grateful that I'm helping.
He chuckled. Rain was disgusted by this and began to argue with him. Suddenly, Guy yelled at them with a look of disgust. Misery shook her head in frustration.
They must be nearby.
The thought crossed Leon's mind as he observed their noisy departure. But there was no time to dwell on such matters. Guy and the rest would handle things outside, and Leon had his own role to play. The sound of his men's screams echoed through the corridor, indicating a dire situation. Leon couldn't afford to be reckless, knowing he was at risk of being overpowered. It was a vexing situation for him.
Is anyone heading towards the city?
Leon inquired of his trusted ally, Silver Knight Alrose. Alrose, who had been in contact with the knights through the telepathy net, responded concisely.
It looks like they're all trying to force their way into the castle.
With that information, Leon made a decision.
In that case, have the magic knights seal off the castle. We need to isolate the intruders inside and cut off their communication with the outside world.
Got it.
Brushing off Guy's concerns as unimportant, Leon swiftly issued instructions. By keeping the enemy contained within the castle, the city below would be spared any harm. Then, they could wait for reinforcements from Rimuru and deal with the isolated enemy.
To minimize damage, each knight commander must engage the enemy.
Yes, sir.
With the castle sealed off with isolation barriers, the knight commanders were dispatched to confront the enemy. It was a strategic move employing their reserve forces. The Yellow Knights, specialists in defense, and the White Knights, experts in recovery, were tasked with maintaining the city's defense barriers. Meanwhile, the Red Knights were mobilized to intercept the enemy. The Blue Knights, known for their raiding skills, remained on standby to address any vulnerabilities that arose. As Leon issued orders, Alrose took charge of the situation. In front of Leon, the 6 demon generals knelt down.
Demon Lord Leon-sama, grant us permission to engage.
They requested. These were not Guy's subordinates, but rather under the command of Misery and Rain. They were once archdemons, but after evolving with Misery and the rest, they became known as demon peers. One standout among them was Masora, leading Rain's team, earning the title of a Duke-class demon through sheer determination. Although not as strong as Moss, another Duke, she possessed exceptional combat skills. Khan, in charge of Misery's squad, was no slouch either. While he fell short of Masura in fighting prowess, he was a formidable demon deserving of the title of Marquis. The remaining 4 were as powerful as the Magic Knight's leaders. It seemed a waste to keep them idle.
Permission granted. Go. Collaborate with Fran and others to defeat the enemy.
The order was given. With that, the demons set forth. At Leon's side stood only Commander Alrose and the Black Knight Claude. Leon wished he could send them to halt the enemy too. However, since Leon was the target this time, an escort had to remain.
It's frustrating.
Be patient. Despite my unusual role of protecting Leon-sama, we must have faith in everyone here and wait.
There are 8 foes in the castle, 4 knight captains, those demons, and skilled knights. We won't be defeated.
While Claude reprimanded Leon, Alrose tried to lift his spirits with optimism. Though the task was daunting, they were determined to stop Leon from falling into enemy hands.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Nate, Havox, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L, Edgar Fuentes, JV, Thomas, J, Christ, Joshua Cousins, Vethelny, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Panda Cats, DeAndre Nance, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Kamal Ebanks, Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Quilly Buckner, Zephyras, Alver, Normal Defate, L, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Liron Sangkap, Lucas Gay, Jason Martin, Ekotski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Andre Hamilton, Guy Endsley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Hansel Ortega, Karam Faraj, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Kamal Luke, Spencer Candila, Ian Sikibul, Putate, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, Lamar, KACP9R, Tony, The Harv, Mike Roch, Matthew Abraham, Drayden Yamauchi. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.